In this video, we're going to be going over the best build for the ISO 9mm SMG that dropped with the Season 6 update, and we're going to go over the best class setup and also show you this in the firing range after we've tried it out in private matches. Quickly getting straight into this, I want to show you a gun that you can pair this with. Now, obviously you can pair this with the new assault rifle, which is a solid choice. Check out a previous video, we've already discussed that one. But the TAC-V also got quite a few buffs as well with this update, and we all kind of know how the TAC-V felt when it was a meta weapon. Very, very solid choice. Bit hard to use, but it's still something that hits extremely hard. So I do recommend going with this if you do want to try out an older weapon. Now, you can use the AIM OPV4 optic, or you could choose the OLE laser, which is a laser option, which is going to help with idle stability and aim down sight speed. Both are good choices when it comes to that. 50 round drum mags, you absolutely need that. High velocity, which is going to help with the bullet velocity, but we are going to move it more towards recoil steadiness, just for that extra support with the recoil control. And then we need boosted damage range there because recoil smoothness doesn't actually do anything. So this is the tuning that you want to have for that. Then we use the FTAC Ripper underbarrel, which is going to help with the recoil control, and again you want to focus more on recoil control with this gun. And then lastly, we are using the Zulu suppressor. Now, you can use a suppressor, tune it like this, as the Zulu suppressor is the best option, but if you do want to go for something with a bit more control, you can choose something like the LR8 for horizontal recoil control, or the lock shot, or something else that's going to give you a bit more recoil control in general, but that is if you don't like using suppressors. Now, when it comes to the ISO 9mm, it's going to be a similar build to what I use for the other ISO as well, and that is just because they do have small mags, they burn through ammo very quickly, and also they don't do a ton of damage. It's just that the fire rate is kind of relatively quick here, but overall, in general, you do want to use the demo fade. This is for that strafing speed, so aim walking is very important, especially once obviously you've maxed this weapon and you can do the tuning on it as well. It will definitely help out a ton. We are using the movement speed rear grip as well for sprint to fire and aim down sight. We are using 50 round drums because you either get 20 or 30, and 50 is obviously what we need. And then we're using the XTEN black kite for suppression. You don't necessarily need this, but I prefer to be suppressed in general. There are some barrel options here that help with like damage range, aim down sight speed. There's also an integrated suppressor one as well. Well, actually two. But again, I tend to... Then we are using the HIPSHOT L2, and that is for the extra hip fire accuracy. Now, showing you this in the firing range, as you can see, it is a pretty accurate weapon in general, and that's just the way I've built it out, of course. You can have it a bit more all over the place, but that way you want to make sure you're hitting all your shots. The strafing speed on this is not fantastic, but it's definitely doable. But as you can see, it doesn't really output a ton of damage. Now, obviously, this is not an exact representation of how this is going to perform in-game because... the damage and the firing range is not obviously accurate at all, so that's just something to keep in mind. The hip fire accuracy on this is actually pretty decent, to be fair, with the build that we have. Obviously you can make it a bit more accurate than that, and that way you can fire even further, but for the most part it's a pretty solid SMG. I think it will be a decent choice, but I don't think it's going to be the meta SMG in the game. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe, and thank you very much for watching.